A sleek, modern set gleams under stage lights. The audience murmurs in anticipation. The show is Point and Counterpoint, a political debate program. Host Terry Marks shuffles cue cards. Coming up next, sparks may fly, he teases. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett meets former Trump aide Kash Patel. Camera pans to the guests seated across from each other. Jasmine Crockett, poised, smartly dressed in a power suit. Her calm demeanor radiates quiet strength. Kash Patel, smug, suited, fingers steepled. He leans back with a confident smirk. The countdown begins. Welcome to Point and Counterpoint, Terry says. Let's get right into it. The topic: truth, accountability, and political responsibility. Kash starts. The current administration is a disaster, he says. They've weaponized justice. He throws shade at House Democrats, points fingers. It's not about truth, it's about power, he claims. Jasmine waits patiently. She nods, listens. Audience holds its breath. Terry turns to her. Your response? She smiles. First of all, thank you, she begins. I appreciate the irony of that comment coming from you. The room tightens. She continues. Let's be honest, Mr. Patel. You've spent more time spinning stories than telling truths. Kash interrupts. That's false. I stand on facts. Jasmine raises a brow. Facts? Like the ones in your fantasy classified documents narrative? Audience chuckles. Kash tries to retort. Jasmine leans forward. You sat beside a man who made alternative facts a national pastime. Her voice is firm, clear. And now you lecture us on justice? Kash shifts. You're deflecting. No, Jasmine says, I'm reflecting. Gasp from the audience. Reflecting on hypocrisy dressed up as outrage. Kash leans in. Typical leftist dodge. Jasmine doesn't blink. Typical projection, she shoots back. Laughter. Applause begins to bubble. Terry jumps in. Let's keep it civil. Jasmine nods. Civility is earned by honesty, Terry. And frankly, Kash wouldn't know that if it subpoenaed him. Oh, audience erupts. Terry loses control for a moment. Kash turns red. Cheap shot, he mutters. Jasmine. That was expensive truth. Audience roars again. Terry regains composure. Let's refocus. Jasmine. Gladly. Let's talk about public service, not self-preservation. Let's talk about people, not politics. Kash. You're grandstanding. Jasmine. I'm standing, period. On the truth. She glances at the camera. America deserves leaders who fight for the people, not for a pardon. Kash sighs audibly. You think you're clever? Jasmine smiles. Number, I think you're cornered. Audience claps hard. The sound swells. Kash tries to respond. Jasmine holds up a finger. 1 second. Silence. Let's not confuse loud with right. Your resume isn't a shield. It's a mirror. Kash looks stunned. He didn't see that coming. The truth, Jasmine says, doesn't need a non-disclosure agreement. Audience gives a standing ovation. Even Terry blinks in surprise. That was unexpected, he says. Kash mutters something inaudible. Jasmine sits back, composed. She straightens her blazer. Terry, let's go to a break. But the moment hangs in the air. Social media explodes. Twitter, hashtag Jasmine owned Kash. Trends within minutes. Clips of the exchange go viral. Pundits react live. That was one of the sharpest rebuttals I've ever seen, says one. Another, Kash Patel walked into a courtroom and got sentenced in real time. Meme factories go wild. TikTok users remix it with sound effects. This you? Plays under Patel's silence. Journalists recap the moment. Crockett outmaneuvered Patel with precision. Late-night hosts praise the exchange. Forget firework, says Colbert. That was a truth bomb. Even Fox runs a segment. Patel faces fierce response from Representative Crockett. Politico headline, Crockett comes for blood, leaves no survivors. Patel issues a vague statement the next day. The debate was lively, he tweets. Jasmine responds with a gif. Viola Davis sipping tea. The internet howls. Constituents flood Crockett's office with support. Finally, someone said it, one writes. Editorials praise her poise. More of this, please, says a Times columnist. Journalists request interviews. She grants a few. "I wasn't trying to stun," she says, "just trying to tell the truth." Transparency becomes her theme. Her polling numbers jump. Patel lays low. He cancels a few appearances, books a podcast instead. But the damage is done. He's a meme now. Jasmine, meanwhile, rides the momentum, appears on MSNBC, CNN. "This is what accountability looks like," she says. "Not cruelty, not ego, just clarity." Her words echo. Support grows. Fellow Democrats praise her. Even moderates nod. Young voters admire the sharpness. TikTok explodes again. Remix, Crockett 1, Kash 0. The live broadcast was heating up. The studio lights shone brightly as the debate between Jasmine Crockett, a rising star known for her razor-sharp intellect and fearless approach, and Kash Patel, a seasoned political strategist with a reputation for cutting rhetoric, reached a fever pitch. Both had been trading verbal blows for nearly half an hour, but no one in the audience or watching at home expected what was about to happen next. Kash Patel, confident and combative, had just delivered a blistering critique of Crockett's policy proposals. "Ms. Crockett, with all due respect, your plan is not only unrealistic, but dangerously naive. Your ideas ignore the complexities of governance and the realities we face. It's almost as if you're running for applause rather than results." The crowd murmured, some nodding in agreement. Patel smirked, clearly thinking he had landed a knockout punch. Then, Jasmine Crockett smiled. A smile that was calm but charged with intensity. Her voice, steady and measured, cut through the tension. "Mr. Patel," she began, locking eyes with him, "it's fascinating how you frame realities and complexities as reasons to maintain the status quo. But history teaches us that the realistic path is often the road to stagnation. If your approach was truly about results, you'd stop defending outdated systems that benefit the few and start championing solutions that uplift the many." A hush fell over the studio. The audience sat forward, sensing something pivotal was unfolding. Patel's confident grin flickered. He opened his mouth to retort, but Crockett pressed on. "You call my ideas naive," she said, voice rising with righteous conviction. "But it takes a kind of blindness to call fighting for justice and equity naivety. Your kind of politics has failed this country too many times, and the American people are tired of it." The studio erupted in applause. Cameras zoomed in on Patel's face, showing a mixture of surprise and unease. Crockett continued, "So no, Mr. Patel, I'm not here for applause. I'm here to challenge complacency and to fight for a future where policy isn't dictated by fear or self-interest, but by courage and compassion." The debate moderator, momentarily stunned, quickly called for a short break as the audience's reaction crescendoed into cheers and claps. Backstage, producers whispered about how that comeback would be the headline of the night. On social media, hashtags began trending within minutes. # Jasmine stuns and # savage comeback. The footage of Crockett's response circulated widely, with commentators praising her for refusing to be intimidated and for flipping the narrative in real time. Political analysts noted that this moment could mark a turning point in Crockett's career, showing her not just as a policy wonk, but as a commanding force in political discourse. Meanwhile, Patel's camp scrambled to regain control of the narrative, issuing statements that emphasized robust debate, but carefully avoiding directly addressing Crockett's core points. For viewers, the exchange was more than just a verbal sparring match. It was a reflection of the broader battle in American politics, between entrenched interests and new voices demanding change. Jasmine Crockett's comeback wasn't just savage, it was transformative. It reminded everyone watching that sometimes the sharpest weapon in politics isn't the loudest voice, but the clearest truth spoken at just the right moment. The tension in the studio was palpable as the cameras rolled live. Jasmine Crockett had held her ground for nearly 30 minutes, responding calmly to Kash Patel's aggressive questioning. Patel, known for his polished attacks and sharp rhetoric, was pushing every button he could to unsettle her. The stakes were high, and the audience was captivated. Patel leaned forward, smirking slightly. "Ms. Crockett, you speak of justice and equity as if they're goals easily achieved. But policy isn't about slogans or idealism, it's about results. And frankly, your approach overlooks the delicate balance needed in governance. Throwing out tried-and-true methods for radical ideas won't fix the problems. It will make them worse. The crowd shifted in their seats. Some looked skeptical, others intrigued. Crockett's eyes narrowed just a fraction, not out of anger, but in determination. She leaned in slightly, her voice calm but firm. Mr. Patel, you mention delicate balance as if it's a sacred principle. But who decides what balance is right? The same old voices who've benefited from a broken system for decades? The balance you defend is the one that keeps inequality entrenched. Patel scoffed. Come on, you can't seriously argue that disrupting the system won't cause chaos. That's irresponsible. Disruption, Crockett replied steadily, is what progress looks like when the system fails the people. It's irresponsible to cling to systems that perpetuate poverty, injustice, and disenfranchisement.